Hi everyone. We have a dataset with the order date and the profit or loss for each of the transactions. We make a pivot table and keep the order date, ungroup it, and keep the profit. Very nicely, we can see that for each and every single date, what is the total profit or the loss. If we group the data into the month and the years, for example, we can also see that overall in January, we incurred a loss of 7,300. In February, we had a profit of 6,600. But in our example, this is not what we want to do. We want to find the daily profit KPI. That means in the month of January, we want to know how many days were profitable, highly profitable, or non-profitable. So we will just say that the level of profitability is value is less than 0, then it is unprofitable. If the value is less than 2001, it is profitable. Otherwise, it is highly profitable. But the problem here is that we have multiple transactions the 2nd of January. So it does not make sense for me to find the profitability for each transaction. We have to find it at the level of each date. So let's shift this to the right. We will first find the unique dates, which is unique. Let me also change this into a date format. So now we have every date appearing only one time. And then we can write SUMIF. There are ranges into A9427. The criteria is C2 hash, and the sum range is B2 till B9427. And this will tell us the total profit or loss for each date. That means the 2nd of January we have 8 transactions, and overall there was a loss incurred for 473. And now this formula can be written for D2 like this. We can also make it D2 hash and D2 hash, and that tells us how many of these individual dates have been profitable and unprofitable. So let me call this net profit loss. We will select column C, D and E, insert a pivot table, and now we can put the level of profitability in the columns, the net PL in values, and the dates in rows. We don't want to look at the data for all the years, so let me group it as per the month only, and we can also keep, let me select the years once again. So let's keep the years in filters and let's keep the month in rows. And we also want to summarize the data as a count. So what is it telling us? If we go back to the original data, we can see there are 1,419 individual dates on which a transaction has happened. Hence, the total is 1419. It is telling me that if I only look at 1 year, let's say 2010, out of 31 days which transaction happened, 7 were highly profitable, 4 were profitable, and 20 were unprofitable. I click summarize values, show values as a percentage of row total. And let's also create a chart. So insert, and we will create a 100% stacked bar chart. And let's understand what this is telling us. So what this tells us is that for every single month, what percentage of dates have been individually profitable, highly profitable, or unprofitable. For example, if you look at the month of January, 22% were highly profitable, 12% were profitable, and 64% were unprofitable. And if we go year by year, we can see how the pattern is changing. So as a business, if you are in industries like consumer packaged goods and e-commerce, for example, while the net result at the end of the month is obviously very important, so the top line and the bottom line to see whether you have incurred a loss or earned a profit, you're also curious about the results on a day-to-day basis, since there are a lot of fixed costs that you're incurring, and you want to make sure that you target the customers on the days where the business is doing well and you have a lot of footfall coming in. So that is how we find the daily profit KPI, which means the percentage of days in a month where the business was profitable, highly profitable, or unprofitable.